Hello, I am Jasika. Have you ever looked at a woman sitting quietly beside you and felt something you couldn't fully explain? Not excitement, not confusion, but something calmer. And then a question slowly appears in your mind. Does she truly love me, or is this just companionship? Because after 60, love doesn't arrive loudly anymore. It doesn't try to impress you, it doesn't rush to declare itself. Instead, it becomes quiet, subtle, almost invisible to those who are not paying attention. And the truth is, many men miss it. Not because it isn't there, aku, but because they're looking for the wrong signs. Welcome to Wise Life After 60, where we don't chase love, we understand it. Because at this stage of life, love is no longer about proving your worth or impressing someone. It's about something deeper. It's about feeling safe, feeling respected, and finally feeling understood without having to explain yourself. And yet, what many men don't admit is this: they're not afraid of being alone. They're afraid of misunderstanding love and losing something real without ever recognizing it. Before we go further, let me tell you a short story. There was a man named Salman, 67 years old. He had lived a full life, faced his share of losses, and reached a point where he believed love had already passed him by. Then he met a woman. She wasn't extraordinary in the way people usually describe. She didn't try to impress him. She didn't speak about love. She simply showed up. One evening, he casually mentioned he hadn't been sleeping well. He didn't think much of it. But the next day, she brought him a simple herbal tea and said softly, "Try this tonight. It might help." That moment stayed with him, not because of the tea, but because someone had listened and cared enough to respond. And slowly he realized love had entered his life again, quietly. And this is important because when a woman truly loves you, she doesn't always say it, she reveals it through actions, through presence, through consistency. So if this message speaks to you, stay with me till the end. You might recognize something you've been overlooking. The first sign she's deeply in love with you is this: she listens beyond your words. Most people listen just enough to reply. But when a woman truly cares about you, she listens differently. She notices your tone, your pauses, even your silence. You might say something small, something you didn't think mattered, and she remembers it days later. This kind of attention doesn't come from habit. It comes from emotional connection. It means she's not just hearing you, she's feeling you. And when someone begins to understand what you don't even say out loud, that is not ordinary. That is love growing quietly. The second sign is that she feels safe being completely herself around you. There is no need for her to perform, no need to act perfect. She laughs naturally, speaks honestly, and sometimes even shows her vulnerable side. And at this stage in life, vulnerability is not easy. People have learned to protect themselves. So when she lowers that guard around you, it means she trusts you deeply. It means she feels accepted. And that sense of safety is one of the strongest foundations of real love. The third sign is that she includes you in her everyday world, not just in important moments, but in ordinary ones. She tells you about her day, shares small details, asks your opinion on simple things. These may seem like small gestures, but they carry meaning. Because when someone begins to involve you in the rhythm of their daily life, it means you've become part of their emotional space. You're no longer just someone they meet, you're someone they carry with them throughout the day. The fourth sign is that she cares about your well being in a genuine and consistent way. She checks if you've eaten, she reminds you to take care of yourself, she asks if you reached home safely. These are simple questions, but they come from a place of emotional investment. This is not obligation. This is not routine. This is care. And care is one of the purest forms of love. Because when someone consistently thinks about your comfort, your health, your peace, it means you matter to them deeply. The fifth sign is that she stays, especially in quiet or difficult moments. Not just when everything is easy and enjoyable, but when things become heavy or uncertain. She doesn't disappear when you're not at your best. She doesn't pull away when things slow down. Instead, she remains present. And sometimes her silence beside you says more than words ever could. Because real love doesn't always try to fix everything. Sometimes it simply stays. And that kind of presence is rare. The sixth sign is that she admires who you are, not what you have. She respects your character, your calmness, your life experience. She notices how you handle situations, how you speak, how you carry yourself. And when she expresses that admiration, it feels sincere. It doesn't feel forced or exaggerated, it feels grounded because she's not drawn to surface level things. She's drawn to who you are as a person. And that kind of admiration builds a connection that goes far beyond attraction. And then comes the seventh sign, the most powerful of all. She brings peace into your life. When you are with her, you don't feel confused. You don't feel like you need to prove yourself. You don't feel tension or emotional pressure. Instead, you feel calm. You feel understood. You feel like you can simply be yourself. And that feeling, that quiet sense of peace, is one of the clearest signs that what you're experiencing is real because real love doesn't create chaos, it creates comfort. Now, if you step back and look at these signs together, you'll notice something important. None of them are loud, none of them are dramatic, but each one carries depth. She listens to you. She feels safe with you. She includes you in her life. She cares about you. She stays beside you. She admires you. And she brings you peace. These are not temporary behaviors, these are emotional patterns. And patterns reveal truth. It started with a conversation neither of them expected to matter. He was 64, quiet, thoughtful, the kind of man who spoke less but felt deeply. His life had already seen its share of endings, and he had learned not to expect new beginnings. She was 28, full of life, curious, and drawn to things most people overlooked. They met at a small bookstore. At first, it was nothing more than a simple exchange, a question about a book, a polite smile, a few words about life. But something in that moment felt different, not exciting, not dramatic, just calm. Days later, they met again, then again. She began to notice how he listened, really listened, well, without interrupting, without trying to impress her, and he noticed how she spoke. Honestly, without fear of being judged. There was no effort to impress each other, no pretending. One evening, as they sat quietly with tea between them, she asked him, "Do you ever feel like people stop seeing you as you get older?" He smiled gently and replied, "Only the wrong ones." She looked at him for a moment, longer than usual, and something shifted. It wasn't about age anymore. It wasn't about difference. It was about how he made her feel safe, understood, and unexpectedly at peace. And for him, she brought something back he thought was gone. Not youth, but aliveness. One day she said softly, "With you, I don't feel like I have to prove anything." He looked at her, surprised by the honesty, and replied, "Then stay exactly as you are." There were no big confessions, no dramatic promises, but slowly, quietly, they chose each other, not because it made sense to the world, but because it felt right to them. And sometimes that's the only thing love needs. This is where many people go wrong. They wait for obvious declarations. They expect love to feel intense and overwhelming. But after 60, love changes. It becomes quieter, more stable, more real. It is no longer about excitement. It is about consistency. It is not about being impressed. It is about being understood. So if there is a woman in your life showing you these signs, don't overlook them. Don't dismiss them because they don't look dramatic. And don't take them for granted because what you might have is something many people spend years searching for. And if this message made you pause and reflect, even for a moment, then it has already done something meaningful. And maybe, just maybe, it helped you see something that was already there. If you feel this message could help someone else, share it with them. And if you want more conversations like this, you can stay connected. Take care of your heart because even now, love doesn't end. Sometimes it simply arrives more quietly than before.